Zack, the greatest assassin to ever live, gets betrayed and killed, only to wake up 2 centuries later in a bioengineered body. Having been unable to save his wife and keep his promise to her, Zack uses his new body and the nanotechnology hidden within to navigate through a new futuristic age of assassins and seeks out the ones responsible for his tragedy. This is the description of the new webtoon Back from Black. It has a very impressive art style and it actually uses the webtoon feature of adding background music. Already a very good start before getting into the actual story. Back from Black starts with a lore drop about our main character, and paired together with the music, it actually feels much more epic. Even though Zack, the protagonist, is the greatest assassin, he still is unable to compete with his wife at home. How the world's best assassin even got a wife is a backstory that 100% needs to be told. Hearing him say that this is his last day of work feels like a classic bad flag that something bad and big will happen. The question is, how horrible will that thing be? And will it only affect him or also his wife? Considering the description said something about a 2 century long time skip, I wonder how the group that looks like the antagonist will still be relevant so much later. These people, who probably will turn out to be the ones who will betray him, are themed after chess pieces. This could just be the naming theme the author wanted to go for, or maybe it is a sign that they are also just being used by someone even higher up. For an assassin story, we are also having sweet romantic and comedic moments in the beginning. If somebody didn't read the summary, that would probably give them a false sense of security. I mean, just look at this. Who would expect anything bad is going to happen in a story that can change art styles from what you saw in the promotional picture to this art style? Out of all the chess pieces, Queen is the only one slightly conflicted by the mission. Maybe her admiration for Zack is actually real. And yeah, here it is, the dark twist we all expected. But it is much darker than I thought, and the music kicked in at the perfect moment. When reading this story, you just have to turn on the official music on Webtoon. It adds so much to the story. I don't know these characters all that well yet, and still, it hit me in the feels. That is the power of music. One question still stands. Who was the person that helped Zack get rebuilt into that bioengineered body? Was it perhaps Queen, or just someone we haven't met yet? We have to figure it out. The start of the story was very high level. It used the music feature of Webtoon perfectly. The emotions of the character could be felt even by me, someone who doesn't normally get all that emotional when watching or reading something. Now the time skip has happened, and the title is getting dropped, so now it's time for the real shit to start. For the first time in a while, I am perfectly fine with the main character being calm about getting a new body and also being 200 years in the future. I mean, that man was the best assassin to ever live. Nothing will shock him. Even the waifu from the thumbnail is not enough to surprise him. Her name is Maya, by the way, and she is saying that she got her body only very recently as well. So that means she could be someone we know from the first chapter. I don't think she's Zack's wife, but her being queen is a very likely option. So changing bodies, or reskin as they call it in the story, is something not only Maya and the protagonist went through. With 200 years having passed, many things in the world have changed. Assassins have become normal to society, and they even have public rankings. It's almost closer to a sport now. I wonder how much stronger these chess pieces have gotten, because firstly, yes, they are still alive. But secondly, even back in his original body, Zack was showing that he would probably win in a 1 versus 1 against each of them. King, the leader of the chess pieces, is now pretty much the leader of the world, and he created a fighting force called the Pawns. Makes a lot of sense. Just like in chess, there are 8 pawns, and even pawn number 8 is rank 100 in the world. That's quite the word, unless there aren't that many assassins active in the ranking. Maybe there are only 100, but I think there should be more. However, maybe I overestimated the protagonist and also underestimated how much the technological power-ups can do for the other opponents. In the future, death is not really a thing anymore, because you can just respawn if you have backups. That's quite convenient, but that also makes killing others much harder, right? Well, not really. If you destroy the core of a person before they can get loaded into the backup, they still are actually dead, so there is not that much of a difference. But because of how the world has changed, the mindset of a human from 200 years ago is a lot different to humans that are living in the current era. Obviously, the power system in this story is technology. To be more precise, nanotechnology. Maya is a very useful tool, companion, yes. With the nice art style, the good writing, and the music as the cherry on top, the chapters just fly by. We keep on getting new information, new questions get created, and also answers to some questions are already appearing. If it wasn't already obvious enough, this is a revenge story. But as it is set in the future, it will all be a bit more sci-fi than other stories we have talked about so far. There also is no system. Some could argue about it being an isekai as he got reincarnated into a new body, and because the world changed so much in 200 years, it pretty much is a different world. But if you are staying closer to the true definition, it is not an isekai. Seeing how Maya is handling the situation is heartwarming to me. She really cares about the main character. But as is the case in many stories, things are never that easy. Now we are getting a bit of a deeper look into the nanotechnology and the associated powers. The author and the artist must be quite the memers themselves. They even use the classic woman chasing after a small boy meme. One thing I personally really like is that they use the chibi art style to convey more comedic and light-hearted moments, and then the detailed art style for basically everything else. I understand that Zack wants his vengeance, but thinking he will be able to do it all by himself without knowing the world the future has become is slightly cocky. Maya is making the situation very clear to him by explaining things he has no way of knowing the answer to. He just doesn't know anything about this world. Take from this piece of information whatever you want, but despite the seriousness of this situation, Maya has a little crush on Zack. Returning to the place where he was killed sounds a bit bad to me. Unless it has become something like a museum, then people won't think it's weird to go to such a place. If I was in Zack's position, I just wouldn't know how to react. Not only did the people that killed him become the leader of the world, but they also twisted his death story in a way that made them completely unrelated to it. Zack is considered a legend, and that's pretty good. But that is also only because the chess club decided to turn his story into that. And as expected, he just hates this twisted reality. His anger can easily be noticed by bystanders. He may be the greatest assassin, but he still has a soft spot for children. Maybe because he never had one himself with his wife. Seeing how the queen usually is the most powerful piece in chess, I do wonder why a small child got the title back in the past. There is either something going on with her potential or she had some hidden abilities in the past. Our next big goal is King's Assassin Banquet, so I guess Maya wants Zack to climb up the assassin rankings to qualify for that place. I actually thought we would start this climbing in ranks very slowly, with somebody close to the top 100 like Paul number 8. Or maybe we jump to the top 32 immediately because these are allowed to go to the banquet. But apparently we ignore all these ranks and just instantly jump to the top 5. Makes me wonder how long this story will be. Not every story needs to be hundreds of chapters long, but going to the top 5 immediately is a bit fast. I was very positively surprised by Back from Black. It did check all the boxes I want in my webtoons. The music just pushed it even further ahead. I need to learn more about the nanomachines, how Zack's and Maya's relationship will develop, and how the whole revenge thing will turn out. If they continue to create new music, in addition to always pushing the writing and drawings to the next level, this will just keep on getting better. And just because of that, on a scale from F to triple S, Back from Black has received an S from me. It will for sure be something I recommend to people. That includes you as well. I hope I could introduce you to another interesting story, but if this one wasn't for you, maybe this one is more to your liking. See you over there. Pyro out. Bye!